guys, you're back here with me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch, and we're listening to a little Patsy Cline while we talk about another chapter of this book of Aphrodisiacs. We've got William, my mandrake root here. We just did a video on mandrake root and Aphrodisiacs. And we've got raccoon balcom on the table because they're definitely a taxidermy item that is an aphrodisiac relation. If you don't know what a balcom is, it is the penis bone of an animal, and a lot of animals have them. I didn't even know that. I thought that it was like just possums and raccoons and a couple other ones, but loads of them do. In this video, though we are not talking about balcom or mandrake, we are talking about ginseng. And it looks, like they said in the mandrake chapter, a lot like mandrake, how it's got the bush at the top and these twisty twirly legs and everything. So let's talk about ginseng. There's quite a bit to say. Okay, so the synonyms or the other names for it are American ginseng, sang, red berry, five fingers, divine root, root of life, or man root, and the geographical location. It is found in the wild from Maine to Minnesota and south to the mountains of northern Georgia and Arkansas. Ginseng has also long been cultivated in small areas in the northern and central states in the Pacific Northwest. That's where I'm at, right here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Yes, that's true. Okay. Habitat. It is found sparingly in the rich, moist soils of hardwood forests. Botanical description. Ginseng is an erect plant growing from 8 to 15 inches in height and bearing 3 leaves in its summit. Each leaf consists of 5 thin stalked leaflets. The 3 upper ones are larger than the 2 lower ones. 6 to 20 greenish-yellow flowers are produced in a small cluster during July and August, followed later in the season by bright crimson berries. Before I forget, we're reading from The Magical and Ritual Uses of Aphrodisiacs by Richard Allen Miller. Okay? Ginseng has a thick, fleshy, spindle-shaped root, 2 to 3 inches or more in length, and about 1/2 to 1 inch in diameter, often branched. After the second year, the root becomes branched and forked, and it is the branched root, especially if it resembles the human form, which finds particular favor with the Chinese, the principal consumers of the root. So it's really big in Chinese medicine, you guys. Lots of roots are, but ginseng is a big one. History. The Chinese have been fascinated by the man plant for over 5,000 years. Like the mandrake, the most potent ginseng roots are said to be shaped like a man's body. The Chinese further believed that even better results were obtained when the root was dug up at midnight or during a full moon. Totally during a full moon. I've heard that in many books as well. Any plant dug up during the full moon is an amazing time, especially if it is a root. Oriental men have consumed this root daily for over 5,000 years in order to retain their virility. An ancient medical manuscript of India says that says of ginseng that it bestows the men, both young and old, the power of a bull. Indian tribes of the United States first learned of its virtues of ginseng in the 16th century. Entire tribes would harvest the abundant Panax quickenarvifolium, the North American species of this root crop. The Mesawaki Indians, for example, were known to concoct a special love potion of these harvests, combining it with mica, snake meat, gelatin, and some wild columbine herb. A young girl of the tribe would use the mixture and find a husband by feeding it to an unsuspecting male. A Chinese, Mederica Medicia, of the 4th century, presented a list of exotic ginseng recipes with supposed which supposedly increase sexual appetites. Shen Nung, one of the finest Chinese emperors to practice alchemy and the use of sex for rejuvenation, recorded that he felt warmth and sexual desire after chewing some of the root. Ginseng's reputation as an aphrodisiac, however, owes most of its power to the doctrine of signatures, a philosophy based on form, color, and so on. I really want to look into that, the doctrine of signatures. I'll go back and look on that, because that's interesting to me. A philosophy based on form, color, and so on, since it has a phallic shape. Chemistry. I'll just show you the chemistry bits if you are a scientist. And go on to say that ginseng is also rich in vitamin B1, B2, and contains minerals phosphorus, iron, aluminum, copper, manganese, cobalt, sulfur, and silica. These are present in the glutenin acids and the alumase and enzymes. I just wanted to say some of the vitamins that are in there. According to according to the Cyclopedia Dictionary of Medical Botany of the USSR by G.S. Oglevanek in 1955, ginseng also gives off minute amounts of a unique type of ultraviolet radiation that stimulates the healthy growth of tissue, especially in the endocrine system. This subtle radioactive quality, known as mitogenic radiation, Russian researchers make a fluid extract from the Siberian ginseng, which is widely distributed to the public. Russian astronauts took this by drug, which is not a true ginseng, to strengthen them in their hazardous venture. Primary effects. It stimulates and increases endocrine activity, promotes a mild increase in metabolic activity, and relaxes heart and artery movements. Okay. Panax stimulates the central organs, heart, and blood vessels. Panacine stimulates the medulla centers in the brain, I believe, and central nervous system, and relaxes the central nervous system. Preparation. Ginseng may be taken a number of different ways. It is best taken by chewing a piece about the thickness of a pencil. And 1 inch in length. Saliva helps activate its qualities, which means it's meant to be chewed. If saliva by nature helps activate its qualities, that is the goddess. That is nature telling you that's, it's meant for that, for chewing. In my opinion. I'm not a doctor. Oh, hun. Patsy was choking up back there. That's okay. The Chinese make a tea by boiling 1 teaspoon of the root filaments in a pint of water for 10 minutes. The pulp is not wasted, but is used several more times, and this is then chewed and swallowed. Ginseng tea should be sipped slowly, thus allowing it to combine with the salivary fluids before swallowing. Again, because it helps activate it. Another form of this very expensive Chinese wine called Kaolang, with ginseng roots soaked in its cask for at least 3 years. Nice. As strong as vodka, it is usually... I'd love to make a tincture out of that. Oh my goodness. Oh. Strong as vodka is usually taken in a small glass as a nightcap. An old French recipe for love wine that can be made from at home using ginseng. In 2 pints of Chablis, crush an ounce of vanilla bean, 1 of cinnamon chips, and 1 of dried rhubarb, and 1 of ginseng, or alternatively mandrake. Mandrake is poisonous. Leave to stand for 2 weeks and stir daily. This is then strained through cheesecloth, or you can use my method, which is the tea strainer, and a small amount of amber is added to the color. Amber is an essential oil, okay? But I don't Yeah, and a small amount of amber is added for color. Right. Ritual use. Daily intake of ginseng as a general sexual tonic might be considered by some as important a daily ritual as brushing one's teeth. It certainly formed an eccentric part of the Taoist orientation towards sex. Even if we do not apply all of the Taoist axioms in our lovemaking practices these days, we can still benefit from using ginseng to add more zest into our lives. Taoist magicians believed the importance of balancing male yang and female yin elements in the act of love. They felt that if the lovers were in harmony, it nourished both of the partners, bringing them closer to the spirit of the universe. When the partners were in balance, neither strove for pleasure independently from the other. That's lovely. Really lovely. We can make use of the Taoist attitude in our encounters today by keeping this principle in mind. This does not mean making a fetish out of simultaneous orgasms. However, the Taoist contended that the life force was contained within the byproducts of the orgasm, i.e. semen and vaginal fluids. Therefore, in order to maintain balance, we require the complementary yin or yang energies of our partner. The Taoist system recommends that men and women yield these complementary energies to one another. Then yin and yang blend, nourishing both parties and increasing health and longevity. I love that too. For the Taoists, orgasm was only one aspect of the interplay between sexes. Just as modern psychologists and sex therapists have encouraged us to consider the entire sex act as important, the Taoists consider the whole process as symbolic of universal interrelationship. Paradoxically, though, the selfish Taoist lover is just the opposite of what we might call selfish in our modern society. A balanced Taoist magician has an attitude of equal exchange, while the negative or neurotic Taoist is out for all he can gain personally. He views sex as a struggle or contest. The selfish attitude of using American society and part of the European society. I mean, sex is not a freaking contest, you guys. Sex is an energy that, as a witch, I do not give up willy-nilly. I don't share willy-nilly. I never have. And yeah, it's just something that is so flippin' precious to me that, you know, I give it to one person, and that is like the core of my, yeah, I mean, it's so special to just have one person to share it with, and let me just say that, you know, yeah, don't be giving your sexual energy out willy-nilly, because people absorb that and they suck that energy out of you, and I believe that casual sex is a big drainer of energy, confidence, powers, all of that. If you want me to explain that more, please comment below. I'm not going to be able to do a whole talk on that in this video. So let's kind of bring it back in, Jen. Gonna start the paragraph over. For the Taoists, orgasm was only one aspect of interplay between the sexes. Just as modern psychologists and sex therapists have encouraged us to consider the entire sex act as important, the Taoists considered the whole process as symbolic of universal interrelationship. Paradoxically, though, the selfish Taoist lover is just the opposite of what we might call selfish in our modern society. A balanced Taoist musician has an attitude of equal exchange, while the negative or neurotic Taoist is all out for he can gain personally. He views sex as a struggle or contest. Disgusting. The selfish attitude of using partners to gain immortality consists of inducing one's sex partner the selfish attitude of using, why am I losing my place? The selfish attitude of using partners to gain immortality consists of including one sex partner to as many orgasms as possible while conserving one's own juices. What does that mean? Western society, I really have to reread that and think about it while not on camera. Western society, on the other hand, considers a lover selfish who values his own orgasms over mutual pleasure. Taoists practice sex as a form of meditation which could continue for several days. In order to maintain their vigor, they sought to remain in a state of philophysical calm. No, philopsychal calm. I don't know that word. By not striving and by remaining detached and cold, they use their concentration to increase sensitivity in every part of the body. This awakened the most subtle sensations in a slowly unfolding process. Sex with totally awakened consciousness of the now can be enjoyed as an end in itself. Since the partner who is first to reach orgasm provides the other with an abundance of life force, it's obvious what that means, right? Sex may be seen as a mock battle in which the opponents compete to see who can induce the other to climax. Rather than approaching this as a matter of survival, we could view it as a refreshing, recreational sex play. Even though it is an arbitrary attitude, in the West, orgasm is considered the supreme goal and reward of sex. I don't consider orgasm the supreme goal and reward of sex. I don't. I consider the whole experience that. What do you think is the supreme goal of intimacy if you've not had sex before? But what do you think the supreme goal is? I would be interested to know. In a very casual, friendly way, of course. Talking about magic and nothing else. So yeah, the supreme goal. Sex with totally awakened consciousness of the now, I said that. Rather than approaching this as a matter of survival. Right. We have become obsessed with achieving orgasms, the more the better. We may have lost something by paying little attention to the quality of the experience. An evening of Taoist lovemaking might restore some specialness to your relationship. Incorporate some subtle nuances by maximizing body contact with your partner while minimizing leaking of vital fluids. Love that. All about the cuddle, right? If the partners attempt to complement and harmonize with one another, both will be nourished. When the desire for orgasm is so strong it cannot be resisted, and again, they say sometimes these ceremonies take 2 days, so you'd really be, at a point where you couldn't probably resist anymore. When the desire for orgasm is so strong it cannot be resisted, we may submit, and then revive ourselves by sipping some ginseng tea. Masters of the more advanced Taoist techniques delved into the problem of not wasting their essences, and that is called Tantra, right? Devising ways to prolong pleasure and stave off release. As physicians, they prescribed herbs and medicines to restore virility. Taoist sages also considered what sexual positions were most effective as cures for specific ailments. That's interesting. Sex for medicine in different positions? I've not heard of that. Have you guys? Note of caution. Ginseng is available in most health food stores for anyone wanting to be mitogenically radiated and or sexually inspired. Good grades of ginseng can be purchased for as little as $5 per ounce, but take care not to purchase the low-quality Japanese varieties common on the market. Remember, you guys, Chinese herbs, not Japanese herbs. Chinese herbs. Japanese is a low quality, Chinese is a high quality. And the Chinese has been grown and used for over 5,000 years. But take care not to purchase. All potent grades of ginseng are comparatively expensive. So if it's expensive, it's good. If it's expensive and from China, it's good. Most Chinese herbalists divide ginseng into at least 4 grades. The most expensive would be, I'm going to spell it, T-U-N-G, next word, P-E-I, tongue pie. 1 ounce of roots bringing more than $5,500. Small roots weigh about 1 gram and are sold for $100. That's amazing. So yes, thank you for coming and joining me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch, where my camera is the right way for this aphrodisiac video. If you watched the mandrake root video and it was weird sideways, my apologies. I don't know what the heck happened there. But I can't really recreate these videos, so maybe you could just play it and then turn your phone to the side and then sit different. I don't know. I'm sorry, you guys. All my love. Jen the Taxidermy Witch, reading and talking about aphrodisiacs. Get into it, y'all.